Refuge field, bodhicitta field, and the purpose of this class. For refuge field, visualize the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and all other enlightened beings, or anyone who are the source of inspiration for you to shun all your miseries and to acquire maximum happiness for yourself and for all other dear Mother sentient beings. Don't forget how to visualize them. They are just as your loving kind parents, looking upon you with immense kindness and unconditional love. For bodhicitta field, visualize your two kind parents seated on either side of you, your mother on the left and father on the right, and all other dear Mother sentient beings around you. Here, you are the mother and all others as your own children, and imagine you are leading them into this practice. The purpose of this class, which is to manifest the Buddha nature, the ultimate source of happiness, which is obscured by two mental obscurations, this gross afflictive obscurations and the subtle cognitive obscurations. Afflictive obscurations consisting of afflictions, contaminated karmas, and their active imprints, and cognitive obscuration, which are the inactive imprints of afflictive obscurations. With this purpose in mind, we'll recite from page number 4 of our study material. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness or no sameness. Apostate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freed of elaborations. Apostate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths causes those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience helps subduers expound a variety of teachings. The one who is transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays. To you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. The essence of the dependent origination mantra, we'll recite this 3 times. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato havadat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato havadat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava Hetum tesham tathagato hevadat tesham chayo nirodham evam vadi mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I've discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I will retire into the woods. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of the self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times, I pay obeisance. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of all. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, please liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not divorce the negativities of the beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the four-destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, apostate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O Supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies from supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme sign, voice like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Thus free like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the pure virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits, may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 falls, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Now please turn over to page number 18. Now this mantra of the Arya Bhagavati Pragyaparamita Hridaya Sutra is a mental journey to come out of the suffering. We'll recite this 7 times. Tayatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha Tayatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam gate bodhi swaha tayatha om gate gate paragate Parasam gate bodhi swaha tayatha om gate gate paragate Parasam gate bodhi swaha tayatha om gate gate Paragate Parasam gate bodhi swaha tayatha om gate gate Paragate Parasam gate bodhi swaha tayatha om gate gate Paragate Parasam gate bodhi swaha. 8 verses of mind training. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I've discovered a jewel treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I've helped or whom placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard them as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast space that I've amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Please turn over to page number 25. 3 principal aspects of the path. I bow down to the venerable lamas. As well as I am able, I will explain the essence of all the teachings of the conqueror, the path praised by the conqueror's children, the entrance for all those who desire liberation. Listen to the clear mind, you fortunate ones who are not attached to the joys of cyclic existence. Strive to make good use of leisure and opportunity, and direct your minds to the path that pleases the Buddha. With pure renunciation, the craving for existence also binds beings. Thus, from the outset, seek renunciation. Reverse attraction to this life by reflecting on how leisure and opportunity are difficult to find and ephemeral and without swing. Reverse attraction to fortunate, thinking of infallibility of karma and its effects and the miseries of samsara. Contemplating thus, but for an instant, you do not know the splendors of cyclic existence and remain intent on liberation day and night. Renunciation is born in you then. Renunciation, if not tempered by pure mind of bodhicitta, however, does not bring forth the perfect bliss of unsurpassed enlightenment. Therefore, the wise ones generate the excellent mind of the bodhicitta. Swept up in the current of the four powerful rivers, tied by strong bonds of karma, so hard to undo, caught in the iron net of self-grasping, completely enveloped by the darkness of ignorance, born and reborn in boundless cyclic existence, ceaselessly tormented by the three miseries, thinking of your mothers in this condition, generate the supreme mind of bodhicitta. Although you train in renunciation and the mind of bodhicitta, without wisdom that realizes the ultimate reality, you cannot cut the root of cyclic existence. Therefore, strive to understand dependent arising. One who sees the infallible cause and effect of all phenomena in samsara and nirvana, that destroys and focuses on apprehension, has entered the path which pleases the Buddha. Appearance is like infallible dependent arising. Emptiness is the understanding that is free of assertions, as long as scent of distinct. Realize the intent of the Buddha. When these two realizations are concurrent, when the mere sight of infallible dependent origination concurrently destroys all modes of grasping through indefinite discernment, at the time the analysis of the profound view is perfected. Furthermore, appearances refute the extreme of existence, emptiness refutes the extremes of non-existence. When you understand that emptiness arises in the form of cause and effect, you are not captivated by the view of extremes. O my child, once you have thus realized the points of the three principal paths, seek solitude and cultivate the determination and quickly reach the final goal.
Okay, now I would request everyone to kindly join me in 3 prostrations, and that will be followed by the lighting of the lamps.
With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. Folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered misery's gloom. Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Okay. I think we are all settled now. So today we have with us a very special person, Pooja, one of the most brightest students of Geshe-la. And before she starts today's class, I would like to briefly introduce you to her. Pooja Dabral is an assistant professor at the Department of Buddhist and Tibetan Studies at Namgyal Institute of Tibetology, Gangtok, Sikkim. Her doctoral research topic is Nagarjuna's Philosophy of Emptiness and J. Tsongkhapa's exposition, Descent in the Two Prolific Periods. She has teaching and research experience with a range of institutions, including the University of Delhi, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Tibet House, and YMCA. Pooja La has numerous publications and also presented papers on the themes such as the practice of emptiness, Anatman, a Buddhist approach to inner and the world peace, Buddhist psychology, form and substance in Buddhist philosophy, and so forth, at national and international conferences and seminars. Patient in Tibetan and German, as later for many years at the University of Delhi and other institutions. So now I would request Pooja La to kindly enlighten us. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Lopsala. Thank you very much. So, good evening, everyone. Now you know myself, Pooja Dabral, and so before we start with the today's session, I would like to warmly welcome all of you to the Panorama Series 3, organized by Tibet House and Flowering Dharma at Tibet House, the cultural center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And before we start with today's session, I'm very thankful to Tibet House and Flowering Dharma for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. And also, most importantly, you just heard my professional bio, but what I would like to share with you is that I'm still a student, just like all of you. I'm a part of Nalanda Master's course, and I can see many of my classmates here and many of the senior students also. So I'm very happy to see their faces. And so basically I'm a student, and so I'm really thankful to Flowering Dharma and Tibet House for giving me this opportunity so that I can learn from all of you. So it's going to be a mutual learning. And so the topic which I'm given to share with you is Buddhist psychology. And before I go there, I would like to encourage you to ask questions. That is something very important. How many of you were present in the last session with Venerable Geshe-la? Very good. So he must have emphasized the same thing, the need for the objectivity. And how many of you heard the Gandhavya Sutra? This even word known as Gandhavya Sutra? Okay, if not, but when I'll say what it is and what is there in this sutra, many of you must have heard that. So in Gandhavya Sutra, Buddha Shakyamuni said that, what he said is, I'm just quoting. He said, "O wise people and bhikshus, just as the goldsmiths test the purity of the gold by cutting, rubbing, and burning the gold, so you should examine my word and put them into practice. Don't follow them out of respect for me." Now, how many of you are familiar with this? Wow, very good, wonderful. So those who are familiar with it and those who are not, I'll say it once again, and then just raise your hand and tell me what Buddha is emphasizing in this sutra. Just as the goldsmith tests the purity of the gold by cutting, rubbing, and burning the gold, so you should examine my word and then put them into practice. Don't follow me out of respect for me. So anybody, what do you think Buddha is emphasizing in this sutra? Or what is his intent, or what he's advising to all of us? Anybody, just raise your hand.
Don't take knowledge as it is, like test it and then only accept.
Very good. This is what he is emphasizing, the need for objectivity, the need for critical examination. So it is not something which I am saying, so you should think, whether we should listen to her or not. This is something I'm quoting Buddha Shakyamuni, whose teaching I'm going to present it to you in today's class and the next class in the form of Buddhist psychology. So the need for objectivity. So he said you should examine. The knowledge is very important. This is something very important, but at the same time, knowledge which is correct is most important, not the knowledge only. For that, what is important is the critical examination. And in our university, most of you are from the colleges and universities, so we know how much emphasis we lay on the critical examination. Okay, so when it comes to the happiness and the knowledge which leads us to happiness and shun miseries, this knowledge should also be very critically examined and then only put into practice. That's what is Buddha Shakyamuni is emphasizing in this sutra known as, which sutra? Ghanaviva Sutra. Which sutra? Ghanaviva Sutra. Okay, so this word sutra, this you are going to hear many times in the coming classes also, and outside this Tibet House also, in Buddhist Studies Department, many other conferences, you will hear this word sutra. So just for your information, I would like to let you know that this sutra word has different connotation depending on different context. So here in this context, when I said Ghanaviva Sutra, so I meant any teaching of the Buddha is known as sutra. Any teaching of the Buddha is known as sutra. Okay, so with this I would highly encourage you to ask questions. For that matter, Flowering Dharma they just suggested me that in the end of the session we would like to have small group discussions where you can have interaction with each other, try to get to and also can ask questions and for clarifications what you have learned during the class. Okay, and then I'm also there, you can ask directly to me also. Okay, so that we will do around 7:10 today. Okay, so now the next thing is, okay, purpose of the panorama class. How many of you are attending this series for the first time? Okay, good. And how many of you were part of the last panorama also? Okay, so those who were part of the last panorama, I hope they were there when I was part of it. Okay, good. So they know me well. So for those who are new and then who attended Geshala's class last session, did we learn something about the purpose of the panorama? Did we learn about the purpose of our life? I can't hear you. Did we learn about the purpose of our life? What is the purpose of our life? Why? Don't you have so many classes to attend in universities? Do you have? Then why are you attending this panorama also? What is the purpose of attending this panorama? This is extremely important and serious question, guys, because only when you think about this question seriously, then whenever you come to Tibet House or to panorama sessions, you will feel so energetic that, okay, I want this, and for that purpose I'm going there. It's not somebody is pushing me that you should go to panorama because you will get a certificate. That should not be. That is, of course, that is also very important, but at the same time, what is the purpose of this panorama, the whole panorama, which I'm opting not as, something from my university course and somebody is pushing me and my marks will count, nothing like that, I'm sure, but you are coming from your own choice. So why if I'm coming from my, because of my own choice, why, what is that thing which is driving me to go there? What is that thing? What's your name? Can we have the mic please, just for the recording?
My name is Rigzin.
Rigzilla.
Yeah. So to find happiness and peace.
Very good. So last class, how many of you were there? You said you heard that word called happiness. Yes. And how many of you heard that for the first time? It's a question, guys. How many of you heard that for the first time? Raise your hands. Okay, that's a wrong question. How many of you heard that? Okay, you have heard that before also. Happiness, something called happiness. And then what was so special in the last class? You heard that before also. Rigzilla, what was special in the last class? You heard happiness before also, but how did you link it with your life? Something new? Or anybody else? Not only Rigzilla. Okay, so we all learned that whatever we do, okay, tell me whether you agree with me or not. This is extremely important. Only if I get answers to these questions, then whatever we do together in form of psychology, it's going to be very interesting. Okay, so now tell me, how many of you think that, okay, the purpose of my life is to be happy? Okay, very good. And how many of you think that I'm saying this because I learned in the last class? So it's your own reflection. Wonderful. If it's your reflection, very good. If it's not, this is the time to reflect. This is a very serious question because we spent a lot of energy. Do you agree with me or not? Preparing for the exams, then preparing for the class, preparing for parties, preparing for other things. We spend a lot of energy. Okay, every day we are spending a lot of energy. But why are we spending energy? We don't know this. Okay, if you ask this question very seriously, why? Every action you do in a day, if you ask a question to yourself, if you do some self-reflection, you will come to a point that, okay, finally I am doing this because I want what? And don't want what? So this is extremely important. For example, I'll give you one example. How many of you want to apply for or sit for the entrance exam of IAS officer? No one? Okay, one. Very good. We need very honest IAS officers, so please do apply. Okay, and then, okay, so very good. And somebody with the heart of compassion and wisdom, which we are going to learn during this panorama classes, if this kind of person applies for IS officer exams and then this government official exams, the world is going to be very different. Do you agree with me or not? So think seriously about those things. Okay, now, so what's your name? Kelena. So Kelena said she wants to apply or sit for the entrance of IS, UPSC entrance. Okay, so now tell me, if I ask you next question, why do you want to become IS officer?
It's my passion.
It's your passion. She said it's my passion. What is about your passion?
I want to serve my country.
She wants to serve her country. Wonderful. You want to serve your country. And what if you serve your country?
I could change the systems in small ways that I can, because I can see many mistakes in our society, in our systems, in our policies. So
Wonderful.
So if I can, I would like to change that.
Wonderful, wonderful, Kelena. So what she wants to do, she wants to change basically the corrupt system. Okay, she wants to change. What if it will be changed and the world becomes so perfect? What will happen?
In my opinion, world would never be perfect, because not all people are perfect. Not everyone is perfect.
Definitely, that's an ideal situation. She is saying you are looking for the ideal situation, but do you want the world to be perfect or not?
I want the world to be a happy place.
Exactly. She wants the world to be a happy place. And then if the world becomes a happy place, will you be happy or sad?
Everyone will be happy, not
You will.
only me.
And you will also be happy, or you will be sad?
I will be happy.
She will also be happy. So finally, can you see the number of questions I asked to her? And this is not about her only. She is so enthusiastically volunteered. Very thank you. But all of us should do this exercise with our own self. Okay, we should engage in the self-reflection. Something called wherever you are, whatever we are doing, why are we doing this? Why are we spending so much of energy? Why should we do this? Okay, these questions you should ask. Okay, not only when somebody comes and put a gun on your head, then only you ask why people are doing this to me. Whatever you do, you are spending energy or not. You are spending energy. You have to do a lot for that. Okay, so you should ask all these important questions, that why am I doing this? And then finally it will boil down to the point that the basic desire, the underlying ground, or the basic aspiration for whatever we do is what? That we all want happiness and do not want miseries. We all want happiness and want to shun miseries. And when it comes to this basic desire, now tell me, when it comes to this basic desire, who are those who want happiness? Girls or boys?
Everyone.
Young or old? Indians or non-Indians? Muslims or non-Muslims? Hindus or non-Hindus? All. When it comes to this basic desire of happiness, what the means could be very different. Do you agree with me or not? The means could be very different. Whatever label we give, I want to become doctor, I want to serve my country, I want to do this, and some are very visionary and have leadership qualities. For example, just like our young, energetic, Flowering Dharma members, they are thinking about not only oneself but about the whole community, about the whole society. And what they are thinking, they want everybody to have a qualitatively happier life. So they are trying to spread what? Culture of love, culture of compassion, culture of wisdom through organizing these wonderful programs known as Panorama. Okay, so these kind of people are also there. But if you ask them also, finally, why are you doing this? It boils down to what? That I want happiness and do not want suffering. And seeing everybody to be happy, as this girl said, seeing everybody to be happy, I'll finally be happy. If I see others to be unhappy, I feel unhappy. Okay, so whatever you do, whether you think about yourself or whether you think about the world, finally, what is the underlying aspiration? That we all want happiness. This is something very important. If you have thought about it and have come to this conclusion, wonderful. If not, this is the time to do this. Okay, this is the time to do this reflection. Then with this reflection and motivation and energy, whatever action you engage in, whichever field you go, you will enjoy your job, you will enjoy your studies, you will enjoy your things. Okay, otherwise, does it happen to you after a while, after 2 years, 3 years, the same thing which we had so much of enthusiasm in the beginning, we feel so bored? Okay, I did not know that I will be so bored after taking this subject. Did it happen to you? It happened to me. It happened to me many times. Okay, why it happens to us? Because we can't link it with the basic desire of happiness. So this we come to know when we study the psychology. Okay, this we come to know when we study the psychology. What is psychology? In simple terms, the science of the study of mind. The science of the study of mind. So finally, who feels happy? Your mind or body? Mind. Our mind feels happy, our mind feels sad. So from there you see that the mind plays extremely important role in our experience of happiness or pain. Do you think that? So finally, if the mind is so important, we need to study this mind, this agent called mind, very thoroughly, okay, very in detail, so that we can not only know this well, because only when you know something well, you can channelize it well. Do you agree with me or not? Okay, and finally, what we do is for the happiness, and happiness is determined by our own mind, the state of mind. So why don't we study this mind and then use it properly? Okay, so this is the purpose of the psychology, what we are going to learn, what we are going to do today's class and the next class. Okay, so this is the whole purpose of this panorama. Okay, that finally we should be able to say, oh, from the panorama I got the meaning of my life. That how and what is the meaning of your life? Finally you should be able to say that I know the mechanism of how to acquire maximum of happiness and zero miseries. If at the end of the course you get this, the purpose of the course is served. If you get that, okay, I'm not saying that you will be happy by the end of this session, this course. You will be enlightened with the hello out in your. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you will get the method. You should be able to get the idea of the method or the mechanism, that what I want is first thing, what I want is happiness, and this is very possible. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. Okay, now, okay, so before we go there, so before I go to what this agent mind, how this agent mind is defined in Buddhist psychology, this is very interesting, something very empirical. What I like about the psychology is something that is very empirical. You can actually experience what we are going to teach, what I'm going to share with you. You can experience in your psyche that, okay, yes, this is very true, this is very true. So you will enjoy it. Okay, so this is something very interesting. Now before I go there, what I want to share with, what I would like to introduce you to is known as Tathagata Garbha. Did you hear this before? How many of you were in the last class? Did you hear this word Tathagata Garbha, or the essence of perfection? Yes, and have you already learned this with Geshe-la? Then my job becomes easier. Not? Okay, then do it together. Let's do it together. Okay, so this I will introduce you to the concept of known as Tathagata Garbha, or essence of perfection. Tathagata Garbha or essence of perfection. Some people call it Buddha nature also. Buddha nature. And why I'm introducing this to you? This connects to a very important question. What we learned until now is that we all want what? Louder. Happiness. Okay, and now the next question. And what degree of happiness do we want? 10%? Ultimate happiness. Very ambitious. How many of you want 50%? Oh, that 50% is good for me. If I'm 50% happy, I'll be happy. How many of you are so generous, giving 50% to others? Or how many of you want 80% happiness? Or how many of you want 100% happiness? If possible. Every one of us, don't be shy about it. This is our birthright to be happy, and not only for 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour happy during panorama, and then when we go out, okay, or opposite is also possible. During panorama, very unhappy. Oh, she was teaching a lot. Okay, and then she was talking a lot, and then after panorama for 1 hour, very happy. Okay, now so relaxed, I don't have to answer anything. Is it also possible? Okay, good. So that's up to you. But what we want is 100% happiness, and that too 24/7, not for 1 hour and then 5 hours of suffering. Correct or not? Correct. Okay, so all we want is the 100% happiness. Now the next question. What should be the next question? Anyone?
How to find happiness?
Even before that, how to find happiness? That is the whole purpose of this panorama, to acquire the method to acquire happiness. But before that, that is also a good question. What is happiness? Also another question that comes to your mind. What restricting is? What restricting it? Other questions. Why is it necessary to be happy? Okay, that's a very serious question. That will be given special emphasis in the group discussion. Okay, so we need to, okay, why I'm asking this question, you please note down. Okay, because we need to, these are serious questions, very innately coming to you. These are very important questions, and we need to make the groups and need to discuss. Okay, otherwise in universities, while doing your literature, your physics, your chemistry, your any subject, these questions will never be asked. Do you agree with me or not? Even if asked, what people will tell you? Just shut up. Okay, this is not in the course. Okay, so this is the platform to discuss all these questions. Okay, and you, luckily you have so many friends here, okay, with whom you can discuss, and I'm also here. Okay, Geshala is also there, so please write them down and we'll discuss together. Okay, now, okay, what I said is we all want 100% happiness, correct or not? Yes. Now the next question is, whether is it possible to achieve 100% happiness or not? Is this a question or not? Whether is it possible or not? Okay, whether or not is it possible to acquire maximum happiness and make the suffering zero? Whether it is possible or not? This is a very serious question. Only when we have the conviction that it is possible, we will put effort. Correct or not?
Yes.
Only if you think, okay, if somebody says, whether you do this, whether you don't do this, you can never be 100% happy. Do you think you will put effort? Why would you put effort if it's not possible? Only if it is possible, you will put effort, correct? Okay, so this is very serious question. We should ask this question, whether or not is it possible to acquire 100% happiness and make the miseries zero. Okay, good. So for that matter, I would like to take you to concept of Tathagata Garbha or Buddha nature. Okay. 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 Okay, just what we are going to do here is we are trying to speak out of our, just be very natural, try to speak through your own experiences. If you speak through your own experiences, you learn more and you will realize the difference later on. If you speak through somebody else's experience, okay, I saw somebody, then you, of course, you get something, but not the way when you speak through your own experiences. Okay, do you have the experience of being sad? Do you have the experience of being happy also? Okay, I'll just give you one example. Have you ever seen a person who is very cruel, rude, harsh to other people? Correct? And have you seen the same person when love is given, concern is given, and the compassion is given, kindness is given, the person surrenders to you? Have you ever, not to you, but with somebody also, have you seen ever that, okay, that person's behavior is very different to this guy and very different to me? Yes, yes. Is this the same person or not? Yes, the same person is showing very cruel, rude and harsh nature to a group of people, and same person is showing a very gentle, kind and compassionate and very gentle behavior to a group of people. Do you agree with me or not? Okay, good. And forget about the other person, just think about yourself. How many of you were 6 years old? No. How many of you were 5-year-old, 4-year-old? Raise your hand, guys. Okay, good. I got scared that you were directly, just 16 years old. Okay, good. If you were 5 year, 4 years, 6 years old, very good. So you have the experience of that. And how many of you were so loving to your mother then? Yes, you loved your mother a lot. You were actually the biggest fan of your mother, correct or not? Wherever the mother goes, you go, correct? Whatever the mother does, you do. You just parrot her, correct? Whatever she does, you do, correct? So you are the biggest fan of your mother then. Now the complication arises when you become 16, 17, and nowadays not 16 even, I would say 12, 13, 14, you feel like independent. Earlier, when you were 4, 5, 6, you want to feed your mother, correct? Correct? I saw from my own eyes, they try to feed their mother, especially their mother, they try to take the food from the plate and they try to feed their mother, correct? And then when they become 12, 13, 14, forget about feeding. Even to bring your plate from the kitchen is very difficult, correct? And you have to put lot of effort. You have to put lot of effort to shout, "Mama, please bring food here." Correct? Do you put effort or not? So in short, I'm saying, forget about feeding your mother. Even to bring your own food from the kitchen is very difficult. So this is the same person or the different person? Same person, but behaving very differently, correct? So this is our own experience. So when it comes to, okay, so from this what we need to learn is that it is not that our nature of mind is same at all the times, correct? Do you get that point? That our nature of mind, some people say my nature of mind is, okay, they don't use this vocabulary, but in a way they said this person can never be happy, correct? You see, even with the classmates sometimes, and that, okay, this girl can never be happy. Whatever you say, if you praise her, she is unhappy. That how dare you praise me, correct? And then if you don't praise her, then she doesn't know how to praise others, correct? So this is a clear indication of that we think that this person is never going to be happy, that the state of the mind of the person is always same, correct? Okay, so this is our own experience, but is it true or not? It's not true. That same person who is unhappy with you and shows sadness with you is very happy at home, correct? Is very happy with other people's group, correct? Okay, so this is very important to know. When you know this psychology of your mind, okay, then all this extra thinking that, okay, this is not possible, will slowly go away. That, okay, can I be happy? If you can be happy for 2 hours, can't you be happy for 4 hours? Yes, you can. So slowly all these things will dissolve. So things that we have thought over a period of time, that this cannot change. Okay, this kind of thinking will change slowly. Now what I come to is known as Tadagata Garbha. Okay, so this mind. So now what I wanted to tell you is this mind is a very important agent that plays an important role in your experience of happiness or suffering. Okay, in your experience of happiness or suffering. And this same mind has the capacity to experience maximum of happiness, and that too 24/7. Very intense happiness 24/7. In technical term known as enlightenment. What is known as? Enlightenment. Maximum happiness 24/7, very intense happiness, in technical term known as enlightenment. So this same mind, which is so harsh at moments, which is so short-tempered at moments, so rude to some people, so happy with some people, this same mind, which seems to be so impure and defiled, has the potential to be happy 24/7. Very intense happiness can be there. Okay, so this, which is known as, technically known as, enlightenment. Okay, reaching the state of enlightenment. Now this, okay, now I need your attention. Okay, let's say Lamola. Okay, Lamola is thirsty. Okay, what's your name? Jigmela. Okay, so Lamola, you know Jigmela? Jigmela, you know Lamola. Very good. They are friends. Okay, so let's say Lamola is thirsty. Lamola, raise your hand so that everybody sees you. Okay, and Jigmela, you also raise your hand. Okay, so they are going to volunteer for me. Okay, so Lamola, let's say Lamola is very thirsty. Okay, and she wants water. And she asks Jigmela. And Jigmela, just for fun, she gives her dirty water from the sewage. Lamola, will you drink? I know Jigmela will not do this. I'm just giving an example. Okay, just for fun. Okay, so Lamola, will you drink it?
No, Pujana.
Why would you not drink it?
Because the water is dirty.
Because the water is dirty, and then you feel hurt. Okay, Jigmedla, she gave me dirty water when I was very thirsty. Now what she do? Okay, the same water, dirty water, can it be treated? Can it be treated with the different processes? Process of the putting the chemical alarm, and then process of the reverse osmosis. Do you think so? Yes, all the bottled water we have are the treated water actually. Okay, so you treat the same water and the waters become very pure, very clean. All the impurities they remove, all the impurities they disappear. Correct or not? Now Lamola, Jigmedla offers this water to you. Would you drink?
Yes.
Okay, now Lamola will drink. Why Lamola? Earlier also Jigmedla gave you.
Because now the water is
Because now the water is clean. Now tell me. Okay, so this is, okay, tell me. Now she can, okay, do you agree with her that because the water is clean, she can drink it? Correct? Okay, now the other job is, do you know charcoal? Yes. If you know charcoal, what is the color of the charcoal? Black. If I ask you, okay, if I ask you to make it white inside out, if I ask you to make it white inside out, and then what will you do? You will start removing the black part. Okay, this is the one way. Okay, water, you just purify it with the different processes and the water becomes clean. Correct? Now charcoal, I want a very pure charcoal, white color. I don't like black. I want white color charcoal. Okay, and then I ask you to make it white inside out. Okay, so then what you do is you start removing the black part. Correct? Do you think that you will ever find the white charcoal? What will happen to the charcoal? Anybody? Raise your hand.
Disappear.
This will disappear. Okay, any other answer? Same. Okay, so it will disappear. Okay, tell me, what is the difference? Can you see the difference in case of water and in case of charcoal? Charcoal, black. Water, dirty, full of impurities. Okay, when you treat the water with the different processes, the water become clean. Okay, pure, becomes very pure. But charcoal, if you start removing the black part, instead of becoming white, it disappears. The charcoal disappears. Anybody, just tell me the difference. Why in case of charcoal it disappears, but in the case of water it does not disappear, but it becomes very pure, very clean, ready to drink. Okay, here that.
The possibilities.
Please tell your name to everyone.
My name is Sonam.
Sonamla.
Yeah. The possibilities of water to be treated and impossibility of charcoal to be white charcoal.
Very good, because water can become pure. If I got you wrong, Sonamla, tell me. So you want to say that the water can be purified and charcoal cannot be purified. Why?
Not actually.
The purification process is same for the both, but in water you are removing the external particles which have been added to water. Water is normally pure. Charcoal itself is pure, but you are trying to remove black color from charcoal, which is its inherent quality, so you can't remove that.
Okay.
Water is originally pure.
Oh, very good. So originally, inherently, did you hear these words? Every one of you heard this? Very important. This is coming from their own experience, from their own innate thinking. Very important words. Inherent, original. Correct, Sonamla? correct? Inherent. So in other words, can I say that the true nature of the water is pure and the true nature of the charcoal is black? Okay, so true nature, since the true nature of the water is pure, these advantageous impurities can be purified, it can be removed, because the true nature of the charcoal is not pure. So if you start removing the parts of the charcoal, instead of becoming white, it will disappear, correct or not? If you got this, you got the concept of Buddha nature. So this is very important. What is the difference between a water, a dirty water, and a charcoal? A dirty water, when you purify it, when you treat it through different processes, it does not disappear. Instead, it becomes clean. All the dirts can be removed. Whereas in case of the charcoal, instead of becoming white, what happens to the charcoal? It disappears. So this is the difference. Okay, this is why, and why this is the difference, because the true nature of the water is very pure, clean, and all these all these defilements, these impurities are the adventitious nature of the water. What is that? It is not the true nature of the water, it is the temporary nature of the water, correct? It is the temporary nature of the water. All these impurities are the temporary nature of the water. So when you treat it, you can bring out the true nature of the water, which is very pure, correct? So now in the case of charcoal, because the true nature of the charcoal is it's itself black, so if you start removing the true nature, it will disappear, correct? Now the good news. What is the good news? Anybody can guess?
Our mind is like
Give her mic. She is announcing the good news.
That our mind is like the water, and
So this is the good news. The good news is our mind is not like the charcoal. Our mind is like the dirty water right now. Pure water is referring to what? Enlightenment, maximum of happiness 24/7. 24/7. Nothing can stir your happiness. Nothing, no external condition can stir your happiness. That is a kind of state we all can reach, and there is a potential. Okay, so the good news is, in short, the good news is our nature of our mind is not like this black charcoal. The nature of mind is like dirty water at the moment. Dirty water at the moment. And what are these dirt symbolic of? They're symbolic of the mental defilements. They are symbolic of the mental defilements. Many of you can ask, then if the true nature of my mind is so pure, what is this purity called? This purity is known as enlightenment in technical term. The purity of perfection, where all your qualities are perfected. Okay, in other words, enlightenment. So if it is there, why it's not visible? So the answer is, okay, just as the pure water is not, why pure water is not visible? In the dirty water, is there, okay, give me an answer. When Jigmedla gave Lamola the dirty water, the pure water was inside, or she brought it from outside? It was inside, but why it was not visible? Because of the temporary impurities, temporary dirt inside it. Okay, so likewise, although the purity of perfection is inside each one of us, it's not visible right now because it is obscured by mental defilements. Okay, it is obscured by mental defilements. Next question is, what are these mental defilements? What are these mental defilements? This we are going to learn during this course. Okay, this we are going to learn during this course. Not only we are going to learn what these mental defilements are, how to remove these mental defilements so that the perfect purity of our mind comes out. Okay, so purity of our mind comes out. So we all have this potential of perfection, in technical term known as Buddha nature. In technical terms known as Buddha nature. And I would like to also share with you another analogy by Arya Maitreya. He said, okay, the analogy he gives of the beggar. He says that, okay, that will make it very clear to you. Okay, there is a beggar who lives in a very simple hut. Okay, and underneath the floor of the hut, there is a huge treasure. Okay, there is a huge treasure. But unless this beggar discovers that there is a treasure inside, underneath the floor, do you think that the beggar is rich? No. Why not? He has huge treasure inside his hut. Why not?
Because it's not in his knowledge.
Because he doesn't know about this. So as long as he doesn't discover that there is a treasure inside his heart, he remains beggar. As the moment he discovers that there is a treasure, he may be the richest person in this country. Okay, so this is very important. Likewise, it is very important to have the conviction that there is a treasure inside within each one of us. And when it comes to this treasure, this essence of perfection, nobody is different. Okay, everybody is same. We all are same when it comes to the essence of perfection known as Tathagata Garbha or Buddha nature. Every one of us have this essence of perfection. So now it's a matter of what? Just discovering it. It's a matter of discovering it. And to discover it, we have to know what obscures it. Okay, what obscures it. And what do you learn? What obscures it? In the case of water, what obscures the purity of the water? The dirt, the external dirt. And in case of the Buddha nature, your own state of mind, what obscures that? Mental defilements. And what are those mental defilements? That you will learn during the course. Okay, that you will learn during the course. Don't worry about that. Okay, so from this we learn that every one of us has nature. Okay, good. Okay, now, so from this, I'll take you to the psychology. Okay, I'll take you to the psychology. Okay, this Buddha nature, is it it is a state of your mind. It has nothing to do with the external thing, correct? It is a state of your mind. Okay, and mind is subject or, okay, tell me, now this is going to be a little technical, so I need your attention here. Okay, let's engage in some activities. Subject and object. Okay, now tell me. Okay, let's say one day you are very sad. Okay, you were very sad and then you decided to go out. Okay, just to feel relaxed, you decided to go out. And where do you go? Where do you go, guys? To feel relaxed? To a bar. Okay. Okay.
Park. That's what I
Park. Very good. Don't go to bars. You won't feel relaxed. Okay, good. To park. Okay. Other people, where they go? Libraries. Libraries. Who goes to library? Oh, there is one there who goes to library to feel relaxed. That is also possible. Okay, state of mind. Okay, good. And then, okay, let's say you go to a park or you do go to a shopping mall. Can you go to a shopping mall also? Okay, and then suddenly, coincidentally, it happens that you see a friend of yours who you have not met for last 5 years. And then you feel, what will you feel? You feel joy, or you, not only a friend can be many kinds, a very kind, good friend of yours, okay, who you have not met for last 5 years, and you coincidentally meet that person in the shopping mall. Then you have not said hi to that person yet. You just saw the person. What will be your feeling? Excitement, joy, elation, correct? Okay, so now tell me, what now your mind, which was so sad earlier, it comes in contact with which object? The other person, your friend, a kind, good friend, okay, a very kind friend of yours who you have not met for last 5 years. So when your mind, the subject, okay, mind also known as subject, when your mind or the subject comes in contact with your friend as an object, what arises in you? Joy arises in you. What else arises, you know? Excitement arises in you, correct or not? Okay, and then you go to the person, okay, you go to the person and say, oh wow, hi, so nice to meet you. It happens, yes, and the person, who are you? Can happen, okay, who are you? What will you feel? Immediately you feel sad, correct or not? Correct. Now it's the same mind. Earlier you saw your friend, it interacts with the friend and it feels very elated. So now can you see that the subject was same and the object was also same, your friend, but the what was different? Situation was very different, correct? So depending on the different situation, the same subject or the mind can behave differently, correct? When the situation was that you thought that he will embrace me or she will embrace me, she will say hi to me, you felt so happy, correct? And when you found out, okay, she doesn't even recognize me, he doesn't even recognize me, you feel sad, correct? So same subject, same object. Okay, so in this situation, the subject was same and the object was same, correct? Okay, now let's change the situation. Okay, the same subject and different object. Same subject and different object. Let's say, okay, let's say you okay, you sing your okay, while you are very sad, you meet with your mother who is very kind to you, very nice to you. Okay, one situation, what will be your reaction? Happy, very happy. Okay, and then you meet with, and next moment you will meet with a neighbor who is very nasty to you. What will be your reaction? What will be your feeling? Sad. Now tell me, in this scenario, subject is same or different?
Different.
Subject.
Same.
Subject is same. The mind is same. You. Okay. And now the object you interact with, are they different or same?
Different.
Different. Wow, I'm so happy. You got this. Wonderful. Okay, so subject and object. From this you can know that subject, depending on the different object and different situations, it can respond differently. Correct or not? How many of you agree with this? You need to analyze many more situations. Okay, you need to analyze many more scenarios, but for time being you need to know that the same mind, your same mind, depending on the object it interacts with and the situation it is in, it responds very differently. Okay, correct? So now, and what affects you? Your state of mind or somebody else's state of mind? Who says that somebody else's state of mind? You know, if she is unhappy, I'll be unhappy. Is it happen to us or not? In simple word, okay, if I say very technically, oh, whether your subject will be, okay, what affects you, your subject or somebody else's subject? You say your subject. When I ask you, does it happen to you? Okay, you say, oh, if my mother will be unhappy, I will also be unhappy. This happens. So your mother is a different subject from yours, or you same subject? Different subject. But finally, your mother being unhappy, who feels unhappy in you? Your body or mind? Mind. So finally, what is most important for you in this whole universe, if I can say, is your own mind. How your mind interprets the situation. External factor. Okay, did we do this last class? Sound of a clap. Okay, a quick recap, and I want your help. Okay, sound of a clap. What is this? Okay, just do it together. What is this analogous to? Miseries only and happiness. It could be miseries or happiness. And what are the two hands are? External and internal factors. Only when these two things come together, the sound of the clap arises, or when the internal factors and the external factors, they come together, the sound of the miseries. Okay, the sound of the miseries or happiness arise. Correct? Likewise, your subject and the object, when they come together, okay, when they come together, depending on what object it interacts with and in what situation it interacts with, you can be happy or you can be sad. Okay, this is very important. So do you see the role of the subject and object here? Okay, so do you see that they are very important? Object is equally important, subject is equally important. Okay, if the object is my mother, I'll be happy. Correct? So you depend on the object also? Yes. Even if you're, let's say sometimes it happens, how many of you, okay, celebrate your birthdays? Good, very good. Okay, on your birthdays, even if somebody says bad thing to you, you feel okay, it's okay. So happy you are. Because you are so happy, you feel happy. Correct or not? Because your basic state of your mind is so joyous, so happy. What even if wrong things happen to you, you don't mind. Correct? And some days everybody is so happy, but you are sad. Okay? Everybody is so happy, but you are sad because of some reason, some personal reason. Sometime happens or not. Okay, you are so sad, and even if somebody brings you a piece of, and your mother especially, just it we have a lot of experience with mother. Correct? Mother brings a piece of cake for you. Don't you think that I'm busy? Does it happen sometime? Yes, although she is bringing something good for you, but you feel that you don't feel happy. Why? Other days, the same action of your mother brings you joy, correct? But the same thing brings you sadness because your basic trend of your mind is not happy, correct? So your mind is very important. Object is equally important and subject is equally important. This you need to learn, okay? So now, finally, what we learn is that whether the happiness or the pain, they arise independence on the interaction of the two things. What are those? Subject and the object. Your subject and the objects you interact with, correct? Okay, now what is most important for you is to study the subject and study the object, because if the happiness also depends on their interaction, miseries also depends on their interaction, and I want to make the miseries zero and I want to make the happiness maximum. So I should know what this object is like and what this subject is like only, and then this maximum happiness is also not something that you can't comprehend. It is also dependent on the interaction of your subject and object. This maximum happiness depends on the interaction of the very subtlest, the subtlest of the subject. When interacts with the subtlest of the object, what arises is known as maximum happiness. Technical term guys, enlightenment. Okay, technical term, enlightenment. So you need to know how to make the subject subtlest and how to make the object subtlest. Okay, good. Did you get this point? Okay, from this subject object analogies and examples, what I wanted to tell you is that the maximum happiness, what we all are seeking, okay, that we all desire, it is also dependent on the interaction of the subject and the object. And not only subject, or even right now our subject is interacting with the object or not? Yes, but are we 100% happy? Is it not going to change into suffering? Are we not going to get angry? Are we not going to be harsh? Or are we not going to be sad? No guarantee. Okay, so if we want the maximum of happiness, that also originates by interaction of the subject and object. But what kind of subject? Subtlest of the subject when interacts with the subtlest of the object. Okay, so now our job is to know that how to make the subject subtle and how to make the object subtle. Okay, so now to know this, how to make the subject subtle, in technical term we call it study of psychology. We call it study of psychology. So all the disciplines, just such as neuroscience, cognitive science, and then what else? Western psychology, they are all dealing with this study of mind, this agent known as mind. And then this is one thing. Now the other thing is what? Study of the, what is the other important thing? Object. So to know how to make the object very subtle, to know the object so well, we need to study. This study is known as study of the ontology. Okay, study of the ontology. So all these disciplines like philosophy, chemistry, physics, they are all trying to understand what constitute the objective reality. What is the reality of the object out there? What is the reality of the object out there? So for that matter, we study these disciplines, correct? And for the study of the subject, what are we studying? Psychology, Western psychology, and then there are many disciplines you should study all. Okay, Western psychology is there, cognitive science is there, and then neuroscience is there. Nowadays even neuroscience is playing a very important role, you know, in the study of the mind. Although these questions are always there, whether there is a mind or not. If there is a mind, whether it is different from the brain or not. If it is different, how it is different. Is it just an emergent property of the brain or not? Okay, so all these questions are very serious questions, need to be dealt separately. Okay, so for now, what I'm going to share with you is the mind. Okay, what I'm going to share with you is the mind, psychology. Okay, good. So we have this, all of us, we have this textbook. Good. Okay. So it's on page 39. Everyone has this? Okay. Those who do not have, please raise your hands. Okay, good. Okay, so before we go further, I want to make sure that you got something from today's class, so that it's not a lot for you, but next time we start, you enjoy it. Okay, I'll ask you a few things and then you answer. Okay, don't feel pressurized, just answer whatever comes to you. Okay, and then answer it. Okay, tell me, finally, what are we all seeking? Happiness. Okay, and whatever we do, the purpose of that is to seek what? To seek happiness. And then our happiness depends on the interaction of the two things. What are those two things? Your subject or okay, somebody else's subject and your object? My subject. Okay, your mind and the other object. Correct? Okay, now subject object interaction plays a very important role. Correct or not? Okay, now, so to study the subject is important? Yes. Okay, tell me, only studying the subject is important? My question. Oh, did I ask you which one is important? No, I'm asking, only studying the subject is important? No. Answer is no. Only studying object is important? Studying both is important? Yes. Why? Because our experience of happiness or the pain, it depends on the interaction of the two things. What are the two things? Subject and object. So subject plays important role. Likewise, object also plays important role. Now the subject is in you. What is your subject? Mind. This agent called mind. Okay, this is very important. And then what is the object? Anything, okay, that your mind interacts with. It could be, okay, when you say object, it could be somebody else's mind also. Okay, somebody else's mind acting as an object for your mind. Okay, so your mind plus anything it interacts with becomes the object of that mind. Correct? Okay, good. Now tell me, so to understand this subject so well, what are the disciplines? What is that known as? The study of the psychology. The study of the psychology. And to study, to know this object so well, to know the reality of the object so well, what are the disciplines? Physics, chemistry, and philosophy. What you are going to do here is the philosophy. Philosophy is, the whole philosophy is for that purpose, to study the reality of the object out there. Okay, when you know the object so well, your interacts, okay, if you know the object in a distorted way, your mind will react with the, okay, the interaction will be correct or wrong? Wrong interaction. So the result will also be miserable. Okay, so to know the object so well plays important role. So for that, the whole philosophy is there. Okay, and for knowing the subject so well, we have the study of the psychology. Good. Okay, so what we are going to do today and tomorrow is, or not tomorrow, what is the next one? Friday. On Friday is the psychology. Okay, study of the mind. Good. So before we wind up, let's just start the text today. Okay, 39 page number. can you read why study the mind? Can you read that? Why study the mind? There is one line written in bold. Okay, so this is very serious matter. Why to study the mind? Okay, so now we get some clue. I'm not saying everything, but did we get some clue that why should we study mind? Did we get that? Wonderful. So Buddha Shakyamuni also said something same. Okay, he taught this mind for a purpose, not for just, you know, okay, we should study something. We are born, so we should study. This is not the reason. We should study for a purpose. Okay, so why should we study the mind? He gives the reason. Okay, so in Dhammapad, okay, so what the line says, both the world of sentience and non-sentience operate in all the multiple shades, purely driven by the mind. And the Dhammapad says, so Dhammapad is actually a text originally taught by Shakyamuni Buddha himself. Originally taught by whom? Shakyamuni Buddha himself, and later was compiled by the Arhats. Later was compiled by Arhats. So in Dhammapad, Buddha said, what did he said? Okay, let's read it together. Very important. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Mind is the chief and precedes them all. If with impure mind one acts or speaks, miseries follow, like a cart following the ox. Stop. Okay, so what Buddha said is, mind is the chief and precedes them all. If with impure mind one acts or speaks, miseries follows, like a cart following the ox. So what we did during this 1 hour, if you can relate what we learned with this verse, I'll be very happy. How many of you can just relate it? I'm not saying explain it. Just in your mind you think, yes, this is what we learned. How many of you can relate with it? Wonderful. So what Buddha is also saying is, mind is the chief and precedes them all. So mind is most important. Mind is something very important. If something which is very important in this whole universe for yourself is your own mind, If with impure mind one acts or speaks, impure mind is the mind with the mental defilements. Mental defilements such as, okay, that technically we will learn later. But let's say anger, anxiety, then fear, then what else? Jealousy. Very good. Jealousy. What else? Hatred. Okay, this is also very important, with hatred. And then what else? What negative emotions you have? Greed. Ignorance. Very important. Ignorance. Then depression. And then, you know, stinginess. Many other things are there. If with this state of mind you act or speak, okay, so there are 3 kinds of actions, so you will learn slowly. So if you act or speak with a negative state of mind or impure state of mind, what will follow? Miseries follow. Okay, what will follow? Miseries follow. Like the example given is of a cart, like a cart following the ox. And then, so now, what he's saying, if we react or if we act or speak with the impure state of mind, and then, okay, during this course we should know exactly what impure means, okay, technically, okay, don't leave it very on the surface level. Okay, for time being, with the impure state of mind, let's say negative emotions, okay, with negative state of your mind, if you act or speak, what follows to you is, how many of you have the experience of anger? Wow. And how many of you, okay, that's a wrong question. How many of you don't have the experience of anger? I was wishing one hand at least. Even my hand cannot go up. Okay, so we all are so rich in this experience of anger. Okay, and how many of you, okay, did you experience yourself? Or you have the experience of somebody else being angry on you? Did you have your experience also? Can you recall it? Can you recall it? Yes. How many of you were happy when you were angry? Not now. I'm telling you, when you were angry, how many of you were happy? Okay, raise your hand who were happy. Who feels that I was very happy when I was angry? Why not? You became angry out of somebody else's advice, or you became angry yourself? Somebody asked you to be angry, or you became angry yourself? Okay, tell me, who became angry when somebody asked you to be angry? Now it's the time to be angry. No one? You became angry yourself out of your own choice? Correct? Many of you or all of you? Okay, raise your hand who became angry out of their own choice. No? No anger? Good. Okay, so we become angry out of our own choice and then we are not happy. Don't you think there is a contradiction? I can't hear you. Is there a contradiction or not? Yes. Okay. When a terrorist, pushes you and asks you to do something, are you happy or unhappy? Very unhappy. Why unhappy? Because we don't want to do this and somebody is forcing us. Somebody is forcing us to do something and I don't want to do this. Correct? Now you became angry out of your own choice and still you're not happy. Correct? So can you see the big contradiction there? So this is the contradiction. We all have the experience that when we are angry, we are ourselves not happy, but still we become angry. Okay, so it's a serious matter to think. Why are we angry if we are not happy? Somebody is not asking me. The terrorist is not saying. If the terrorist is coming with the gun and asking you to be angry and you become angry, I understand. Okay, that you have to do it, otherwise your life will be at stake. But nobody is asking you to be angry, but still you are angry and still you're not happy also. Correct? So all this psychology of your mind you should reflect on that. Okay, yes, I was angry out of my own choice. One. Secondly, out of my own choice also I'm not happy. So what is that? Is that something strange? Do you feel something strange? That's very important. Okay, so reflect on these points. Then when you're angry, you're yourself not happy, but still we are angry. Okay, so what Buddha is saying, if with impure mind, and that too, okay, this is about you. This we never thought about. Okay, how many of you thought like this? How many of you ever think about this point? That when you're angry, whether I'm happy or not? Very good. That's a reflection, very important reflection. If you have not done earlier, this is the time to do it. Okay, whatever you do out of your own choice, you should know why I'm doing this, and doing this, am I happy or not? If you are not happy, what should you do? Don't do this. Okay, for your own sake, not for anybody else's sake. If you're not happy, if you're happy, do it. Okay, if you're not happy, don't do it. And then within where you are happy, wisdom plays a very important role. What to adopt and what to discard. Okay, so that we will learn how to be kind to yourself and how to be wisely kind to yourself. Okay, these are two different things, to be kind to yourself and to be wisely kind to yourself. So we do that later. Now mind. So what Buddha is saying, mind is the chief and precedes them all. If with impure mind one acts or speaks, miseries follow like a cart following the ox. So this is the state of our mind. This is the mind which plays a very important role. If with the impure mind, with the negative emotions we react. Now what we analyzed is our own, whether we get affected from our own anger or not. Now tell me, when you are angry, other people are affected in a positive way or negative way? Negative way. So even you, including you and other people, they are affected in a negative way when you act with the impure mind, like anger. One example is anger. Okay, so this is what is said here. Then miseries follow. Now the good news is that Buddha did not stop there, that this is who we are and we have to be like this. If Buddha stops there, then we need to worry. Okay, what he did? Okay, he says further. Let's read it together. 1, 2, 3. Mind is the chief and precedes them all. If with pure mind one acts or speaks, happiness follows like a shadow that never leaves. So this is also said. Okay, it's not that when you react. Okay, that is very true. When with the impure mind of anger, I react, I respond, I also become unhappy. Other people also around me become very unhappy. This is the reality. This you have to check. Okay, if you are angry and somebody feels very happy, let me know. Okay, I'll use this example. If not, okay, this is your job. Okay, and also you, not only other people, check you, are you happy or not? Okay, if you are also happy, let me know. That is also exceptional. Okay, let me know if you feel happy when you're angry. Okay, so and then what he said is, it's not about the miseries only. The same mechanism is followed by the happiness. The same mechanism applies to the happiness. Mind is the chief, mind is universal, mind is most important thing. If with the pure mind, if with the positive states of mind, let's say positive states of mind for time being, okay, later we need to know what this pure mind is, okay, which is freed of mental defilements, okay, which is freed of mental defilements. If with pure mind one acts or speaks, if you speak or act with the very positive state of mind, positive state of mind, give me some positive states of mind. Mind of altruism, okay, mind of altruism. Another, don't do this guys, when I asked you negative state of mind, everybody was like 1 2 3 4, I got like 11 12 examples. When I'm asking you positive state of mind, only one. Content, compassion, then calmness, then love, then caring, then wisdom. Very good. Wisdom, then respect. More. Tolerance, patience, then empathy, sympathy, then self-confidence. Very important. Self-confidence. Others. Intelligence. Intelligence is a positive state of mind or not? Sharpness of the mind. Swiftness of the mind. So these are also positive state of mind. And okay, tell me, with the swiftness of the mind and intelligence of the mind, if you act or speak, good things happen or bad things happen? Good things happen. You can easily discriminate what is good for you and bad for you. So this is a positive state of mind. Again, somebody said, I think, kindness? Curiosity. Curiosity is also a positive state of mind because it leads you to the asking questions. Okay, asking question and inquiring new things. Okay, now somebody said kindness. Okay, if not said, kindness is also a positive state of mind. When you act with the kindness, what happens? Good things happen or bad things happen? Good things happens. Okay, so what Buddha is saying, mind is the chief and proceed. Okay, now everybody of you has the experience. Okay, I just analyze the anger all the time. Okay, tell me, how many of you have the experience of let's say feeling of empathy? How many of you have the, okay, can somebody explain what is empathy first? Okay, Mike.
Empathy means like being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and think accordingly.
Wonderful. Somebody else? If not, can you repeat your answer? What's your name?
My name is Ringchen.
Rinchenla.
Yeah, so being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Wonderful. So this is known as, let's say, empathy. Okay, where you can feel the other person's pain. Okay, and empathize with the person. You can take the actions. Okay, how many of you have the experience of this? Could be very good. Could be with your mother, your father, your own family members, your near and dear ones, your friends, not necessary strangers. With strangers, very special you are. Okay, but very good. Okay, empathizing with the poor people. Okay, this is, how many of you have the experience? Raise your hand, guys. Don't worry, I'll leave you in 5 minutes. Raise your hands. Okay, so okay, now tell me, you have this experience. Can you recall that experience? Just think about that incident. Just close your eyes for a moment. Just close your eyes and think about that incident when you felt that empathy. Okay, don't sleep. Open your eyes. Don't sleep, don't sleep. Okay, open your eyes. Now, if you have recalled that experience, now tell me, what was your feeling? You were feeling happy? Exactly. But what was the feeling? Lightness or like anger, agitation? Okay, there are two things. Empathy. Okay, that's a complicated one. I took a complicated example actually. Okay, so empathy, one could be, okay, you feel so sad that, okay, do you want to act or not? You want to act for the other person's, do you want to help the other person or not? Help the other person means your body is able to move or not? Yes, your body is feeling light to move. Okay, you have the sadness, but at the same time you are ready to move. You are ready to move. Correct? Okay, let me give you another example which will make it very clear. Okay, let's say experience of that's a tricky one. Good result or not, necessary. Okay, how many of you have the experience of celebrating birthday? How many of you felt joy then celebrating your birthday? Very good. Can you recall that experience? Yes. Okay, now tell me, what was your feeling? What was your emotional state then? Agitation, not ready to move, or very light, very happy? Light and louder, guys. Light and happy. Light and happy. Why was not it like anger? In the case of anger, when you were, okay, were you celebrating your birthday out of your own choice, or somebody forced you to celebrate it? Otherwise you will not grow 1 year older. Tell me, how many of you celebrated your birthday out of your own choice? And how many of you become angry also out of your own choice? Yes. But in case of anger, how many of you felt happy? No one. And in case of celebrating your birthday, how many of you felt happy? How many of you? Raise your hands. Good. So can you see the difference? Both are done through your own choice. But in one case, emotional state, your state of mind is happy. In other, your state of mind is unhappy. Okay, so what Buddha is saying here, mind is the chief, and then on your birthdays, anybody say, even if we say you, oh, even if we give you not a very nice news, you are very happy because the basic trend of your mind is very happy. Okay, so what Buddha is saying, mind is the chief and precedes them all. If with the pure mind, with the positive state of mind, let's say here in very loose sense, one acts or speaks, happiness follows. What follows? Happiness follows. If you, for example, if you have the kindness, you act through a compassion, you act through what else? Empathy, sympathy, then what follows is the good things happen to you. Good things happen to you. Not only, okay, can you see the two things? If you can see the two things, I'll be very happy. One is, let's say this feeling of joy. Is it happening in your mind or somebody else's mind? In your subject. Okay, this anger is also a state of your mind or somebody else's? Your mind. Okay, both are your subject, correct? Okay, both are your subjects. Now, not only I'm asking you to analyze what you feel during these emotional states, but also how it affects the others. Okay, when there is a positive state of mind, not only others are being benefited. When you practice compassion, okay, when you practice, let's say, kindness, not only other person is benefited, your state of mind is also happy, correct or not? Yes. When you act through anger, not only the other person is suffering, but also you are not happy, correct or not? So just you have to analyze more that with the negative state of mind, both the parties are in loss. You are also in loss, other party is also in loss. With this positive state of mind, you are also in having benefit, other person is also having benefit. So now the decision is yours. Okay, so this we will study more during the psychology. So this Buddha said, mind is the chief and precedes them all. With pure mind, with positive states of mind, if you act or speak, what will happen? Good things will happen to you. So we'll stop here for today, and then Lobsanga. Okay, so what we can do, we can take the questions right now also, or during the group discussion. Okay, so let's make the groups. Okay, what's your name there? Chime. Okay, okay, Chimela, this is one group. Okay, this group, okay, one group. Then after Jimila, that is second, let's say, okay, up to, what's your name?
Lajas.
Lajas.
Yeah, Lajas.
Lajisla. Up to her, this is the next group, okay? Just keep in mind your groups, okay? Then here, just for 10 minutes. Then your name? Rigzilla. Rigzilla's group, for a third group. And then after that, up to you. Yes, yes. Your name? Chosenla. Okay. So, okay. Chosenla is the fourth group. Okay. Chosenla after you, fourth group. Okay. And then last, all fifth group. Okay. First group. Who are in the first group? Raise your hand. Okay. What is the name of your group? Let's give some positive name. Let's say compassion. Okay. Let's say compassion. Second group. Raise your hand. Name of your group. Let's say wisdom. Okay. Wisdom. And then the third group here. Raise your hand. Name of your group. Tell me a good name. Truth. Very important. Truth. Okay. Next. Fourth group. What is the name of your group?
Tathagata Garba.
Oh wow. Tathagata Garba. Okay. Very good. Okay. Tathagata Garba is the fourth group name. And then the last group. All of you. What's kindness is first group, no? Compassion, wisdom, truth, then Tathagata Garba, and last,
loving kindness.
loving kindness. Let's say loving kindness. Okay, wonderful. Just make a circle. Okay, just make a circle. Sit. Try to fit in, guys. Yeah, sure. No problem. Okay, today's group discussion. Okay, today's group's discussion is not very formal. What I want all of you is to get to know each other well. Okay, try to know each other well. Now you're going to be together for 1 month. So it's a very, very precious chance to know each other. Okay, and then of course you can ask questions also. And I'm also here. You can ask directly to me. Okay.
Anybody volunteers like why do you want I think it would be something that will be connected to my body. I mean, education, we know it's now like mostly tended for academically. Like psychology and all are different. Like it is studying the mind, but I'm a science student, so my field of study is like something pen and paper, experiment, practical, not with my body and mind. So I think this would help with my preparation as well. Something spiritual, something connected to my mind and body. That's also I'm joining this.
Slowly when you ask these questions and these kind of reflections happen to you, that okay, really, I never thought like this, that when I become angry, I feel that I protect myself, but it's not, I'm not being protected, actually I feel miserable. So there is something wrong in my thinking, in the basic pattern. So finally it will boil down to the ignorance. So that's why the philosophy, to know the opposite of ignorance, that wisdom plays a very important role. Knowledge plays very important role, which is the purpose of this whole panorama. That you get the knowledge to discriminate what is good for you and what is bad for you. Okay? So that is very important.
Right now in this because this is the body, we can take some medicine and we can just get it out of it. some person who is under depression takes medicine and all, but they can get out of it. Like, so I think it like that. Like if medicines can cure something, so just I want to like explore these things also by psychology and by Buddhist cultures and all. It would be helping as well as job as well as someone's life also.
And, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. So before we end, I have two important announcements. So from Friday onwards, we will have this group discussion before the class. So from 5 to 5:30, we'll have the group discussion. So I request every one of you to be there by 5. And the second announcement was the tea is served downstairs. So make sure, before leaving, please enjoy a cup of tea. And now we will conclude our today's session with a dedication prayer.
Okay, guys. Okay, I'm very happy to see your enthusiasm for the group discussion. Wonderful. And who led the prayers in the beginning? Yes. Okay. Ludula will do the dedication prayer and we'll follow. What is the page number?
Please turn over to page number 82.
82.
In the land encircled by
Snow
snow
mountains,
mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chandrajit Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way, that I may follow their perfect examples. I dedicate all these fruits of virtue, with the dedication praised as the best, by the victorious ones thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva deeds. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase forevermore.
As long as space remains,
as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's try to recite this verse in Tibetan also. It's very auspicious. And you will, if you attend His Holiness teachings, His Holiness Dalai Lama's teaching, you will hear this verse oftenly. So you should be familiar to the tune. Ludula, can you sing that?
Chanchu sencho grimpoche ma ke panam ke gyurchik ke panyam pa me payam gong ne gong do pelvarasho.
As long as
peace remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the Dharma of teaching and realization. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect view, and the 2 stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. The path of the union of emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protector of both the Dharma and the beings of the snow land. You are the lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds, of the negative forces forces of humans and non-humans who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas, be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the three jewels. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and path. May I quickly attain the state of a Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Arya Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. See you on Friday. Good night.